Now that you know what the word check means, it's time to add that second part of the word back on. Let's put the word mate up there, combine the two, and we've got ourselves checkmate. This is a word even non-chess players sometimes know. This word actually comes from the Persian word shah-mat, shah meaning king, and mat meaning kill. So checkmate is to kill the king. We don't actually capture the king. That's a little bit of a confusing part of chess, but let's see if I can break it down for you. In our last video, we saw that when the king is in danger, such as this chess position, it's called check. Checkmate is simply a kind of check. Checkmate basically means that when you try to do CPR, remember that means capture, protect, run away, you're not able to do any of those three things. Let's see if this position is check, meaning you can do CPR, or checkmate, meaning your king's in danger, but you can't do CPR. Let's start with the R. The R was run away. Let's take a look and see if the black king can run away. Well, if he goes to the side, he's still in danger, and the computer's not going to let us do that. If he tries to move down the chessboard, he'll actually be in danger from the white king. Notice, chess kids, two kings can never touch, because the one king that moved next to the other king will always be putting himself in danger. Think about it like two magnets that have the same polarity. They don't attract, they actually repel each other. I like to think of it as kings having stinky breath. If you had stinky breath, no one would want to get near you, and if another person had stinky breath, you wouldn't want to get near him. The king also can't go here, both because of the stinky breath problem and the queen would be aiming at him. That's kind of like double trouble. So, we can't run away. We can't protect because there's no way to put a piece on this square to block the queen from getting to the king. But we can do capture. There's only one black piece that can help out. This bishop can swoop in, come all the way down the board, and capture the white queen. So, chess kids, that position was just check. It wasn't checkmate, because black had a way to get out of danger. Let's take a look at another move the queen could have made. She could have moved right on top of the black king. This is actually a special formation, which we're going to talk about in a later video. The black king is definitely in danger, so it's either going to be check or checkmate. We have to figure out which one. Let's do CPR, just like always, okay? If the king tries to capture, we've got stinky breath. If the king tries to move diagonal, we've got stinky breath and we've got the queen aiming at him. And if we try to go sideways, once again, the computer will not allow it because the king would still be in danger. Well, there's no way to do the P. There's no way to protect because there is no square between the queen and the king. Is there a square called H7.5? No, there sure isn't. Okay, no way to protect or block. The R means run away. And we already kind of tried that before when I tried to move the king to G7 or G8. So in this position, this is the first time we've seen a checkmate. The king's in danger and you can't do C, P, or R. Now's the time to shake your opponent's hand, or if you're playing on Chess Kid, maybe shake his hand virtually and call it a good game. One last option here. Let's take a look at this check. If the queen had traveled to C8, why don't you pause your videos, chess kids, and try to figure out, is this check, meaning black has a way to do CPR, or is it checkmate? Pause your videos, and when you're ready for your guess, you can unpause and see if you're right. Well, I think this is just check. I know the king can't move here or here, and there's no way to capture the queen, but this is where we have to use the P, the protect. If the bishop comes all the way back to the square F8, black's king will be safe. Now sometimes chess kids say, I'm not going to do that because you'll just capture me and put me in check again. Well, that's true, but you do have to get out of danger at the moment. And black did get out of danger, although after the queen captures the bishop, now I believe we do have a checkmate. Let's do one or two other check or checkmate puzzles and see if you've mastered the idea. Okay, our new chess position. I switched the kings to the other side of the chessboard. Notice how black's king is still in the corner. It's a little bit easier to trap a king when he's in the corner. Think of it like a mouse inside your house. If you get that mouse in the corner, he's a lot easier to trap. Let's move the rook all the way up to c8. Pause your videos, chess kids, and try to figure out if it's check or checkmate. Well, this one was just check. There is nowhere for black's king to move because of the stinky breath problem, but we could protect by putting our rook in the way. An even better move is to capture the rook. Remember I told you in the previous lesson, capture is the best way to get out of danger because you also get to win a piece. Let's take a look at one final quiz position before you move on to your questions below the video. If the black king is in the middle of the chessboard, it's going to take a little bit more firepower to get him. Let's put the queen on this square to start out. We're clearly putting the king in danger, but is it check or checkmate? Pause your videos and make your guess. Well, this one's just check because there's actually all three ways to get out of danger. We could capture, which is the best move, of course. We could protect by putting our knight in between the queen and the king, or we could run away. Oh, no. The king can move to this square or this square, but notice he can't go to one of these squares because the rook would be aiming at him. Let's go back. There was a better move for the queen. For your final challenge question before you move on, try to figure out where could the queen move to actually make a checkmate in the middle of the board. Well, if you found the move queen e4, you are not right. I know the king can't capture the queen because of the rook on h4, but the knight could capture the queen. Therefore, it's not checkmate. But if you played queen to g5, you are definitely ready for our positions. The king is in danger. And he can't move here or here because of the queen. He can't move to any of these squares because of this rook aiming at all those squares. He can't move to any of these squares because of this rook. So the two rooks and the queen make a perfect power fortress aiming at the 4, 5, and 6th ranks. That is in fact a checkmate. To review, check is when your king is in danger, but you can do C, P, or R. Checkmate is when you're in danger and you can't do C, P, R, and the game is over. Notice we never actually do Shamat. We never actually kill the king. We just put him in checkmate.